Hello and welcome back to Boiler House Garage and to part 2 of the Opel Manta project. I can't accurately call this a progress video as I've actually taken off more parts from the car than you initially saw it with, so let's call it an update. Speaking of parts removal, I mentioned in the last video that I was going to remove some bits from my Cavalier that were missing on this Manta, and as I dug a bit deeper the list got quite a lot bigger. So there's a lot less on the Cavalier to sell on than I originally hoped for, but ultimately it's good news with it, as it's not going to be broken for spares, and we'll actually see the road again, but more on that on another video. Today I removed the radiator, water pump, fan, thermostat housing, which will all be replaced with the parts that I've taken off the Cavalier. So it's basically so I can use my uprated parts and the silicone hose kit I've got. As the Manta didn't come with any hoses apart from this one here, which I'm not actually going to be using. It's a heater hose union from the engine block, and it's again because of the different spec parts that I need to use. So I'm actually going to need to get a blanking plug to replace this with. While I was there, I noticed a smart looking aftermarket universal joint on the steering rack, which is cool. Little things pleases little minds, I guess. I also routed the headlamp wiring through here, which I can show you now. So like I mentioned, it's not much in the way of progress per se, but it just gives us a bit of a better idea on what's happening with the car. I do have some extra parts as well, which I forgot to mention. This is a 5-speed gear linkage. I also have the tunnel top for it. That basically goes through here. It's going to be a bit of a faff to fit because I have to take the seats and I have to take the seats out to be able to take the carpet out to access the tunnel top. Might need welding in, or I might get away with rivets or something. Also, I will need to find a suspension kit for this because the springs are too high. It is basically a clown car suspension height, and there's quite a lot of aftermarket stuff still on eBay at the moment, but some of them seem a little bit low, and I don't want it to be as low as the Cavalier was, because that was a considerable drop from standard. Though standard is far too high, that is, I'd call it slightly too low. I mean, the Manta GTE suspension would have been fine because I basically want this to look like a GTE. But if the only options are aftermarket stuff, I might as well have, you know, a good quality spring and shock set that's slightly lower than a GTE, just to tidy up the sort of arch gaps. But at the moment I want to basically get parts fitted that I've got here, and I want to sort of work away from the bottom of the engine upwards, because once you put like the exhaust inlet carburettor in place, you can't get to a lot of stuff beneath it. So I'll try and work a bit systematically with it. Yeah, until the next one then. Thanks very much for watching.